I wanted to tell you about my temp drop formula that will find you success in the deer woods every single year throughout the entire season. And it's been something that I've hung my hat on for decades. And it's something that's very important because I use it as a way to, people say, well, I just want to be out in the woods and I want to be in the woods every time I can. I want to, stay off the couch. I found it to be smarter and much more skillful to actually look and predict when a deer is going to move, especially a target buck that you're after, and then go in for the kill when the weather conditions are right. And for those of you that don't think the weather plays any role, I ask you to look at blizzards, incredible warm-ups, high winds, thunderstorms, lightning. Those all keep the deer from moving. No different than if the conditions are great. It really promotes the deer movement at the same time. So there are times when weather plays a critical role, and it might not even be that they're moving more miles. And that's one of the fallacies of watching deer movement, recording deer movement, collared deer movement, that weather might not show that deer move miles more, but they're moving deer in daylight more, or they're moving within a bedding area, a very small distance more. And that's when you actually shoot them. And the temp drop formula is really simple. I have an algorithm. I actually infused it into HuntWise's HuntCast several years ago. You can look up, we have a special deal. You can get 25% off if you sign up for HuntWise. Links in the description. But aside from that, it's the same algorithm I wrote for Outdoor Life in 2015 for their November rut issue. It's something that you can look at, and I encourage you to go to Weather Underground, someone I'm not affiliated with or anything. What's nice about Weather Underground is you can click on historical instead of 10-day forecast or current weather. Click on historical, and then under that historical you have a choice of day, week, month. Click on monthly. Then you can put in the year that you want to look at and the month. It's really interesting is you can look at winds, temperature, and those are the two I would focus on the most. You can look at precipitation too. But winds and temperature are really important. Look at wind change. That's kind of cool sometimes. But when you see temperature drop, when you see winds drop, and even sometimes you'll see wind speed change at that same time, which you normally do, then you'll see something that goes like this. Temperatures might even go up a little bit, and all of a sudden, boom. And with that, winds go down. Often the wind change direction is at that time too, let alone wind speed. And then here is where I'm killing my bucks. And it's a really simple formula. And so the key is you see this right here. This period of either build up or it's level, it's consistent, it's the same every day. And what you're looking for is movement that pushes feeding. Big movement. It's dropping 7 to 10 degrees or more. And just look for that drop. And I want to talk about 3 of my bucks throughout the years. And I've had almost every year I shoot a buck like that. I just picked out some of the really special ones. They're all special, but this 174-inch 11 point, the biggest buck I've ever shot, 2011. And with that buck, he's one that disappeared the year before. We went on a cold front, and it was towards the end of October. And we went because of that cold front drop. And it was really cool to hunt during that time, but we went at a time where, it's starting to be pre-rut, and it really taught me. We'd come back for November. We'd be out there mid-October sometime, 18th, and then we'd come back, and there's all this rubbing and all this scraping activity that opened up. We're like, we're missing this time. Anyways, you start hunting that time, and big temperature drop, and if you look at that 2011, you can see right where I shot him, where it goes down at that time. You shoot him right there. 170-inch Kermit in 2020 out here in Minnesota. Incredible temp drop. That was 26, 27, 28. We actually got snow. There was a lot of mature bucks that died in the entire area, and Kermit was no exception. In fact, the day or 2 days before I'd hunted when it snowed, and there were several inches of snow on the ground, and then it melted, and then we had that drop, and everything froze, and then all of a sudden I'm out there hunting. So if you look at where that temperature drops, those winds, where that weather changed, that's where I shot Kermit. And then you fast forward till last year in 2023 bow. I was waiting for that temp drop. In fact, I was hunting on the back side of it, and that's where you got to be, You know, if you see those dry conditions and the winds are subsiding, the temperatures dropped a lot from the day before, even if it's going to bottom out the next day, you still are hunting the backside of that, and that's when you shoot the bucks. And in fact, with the 6-year-old last year bow, 2024 or 2023, I went over and shot that Wisconsin 9 as a 5-year-old, one I had passed up the year before in that exact same condition and setup, and went on that same temperature drop I shot bow on. And that's what I do a lot of times. I'm hunting that temperature drop the end of October, middle of October, whenever it is, and I'm hunting Minnesota, and then I'm going directly over and hunting Wisconsin, or vice versa, depending on the stands and how I feel about the wind direction. And I'm killing 2 days in a row or a day apart because I'm taking advantage of that same cold front. Something I want to challenge you with, and I've done this with a lot of clients, it's kind of cool. You shot a big buck in 1997. Your great uncle shot a nice buck in 1950 some with a bow. It was a big family heirloom that he shot this giant booner way back then with a stick bow. You shot a nice buck in 2018, whatever the date, whatever the month, start looking at your bucks and when you shot them. And I think a lot of times when you look at that and you have this build up, it either goes up, it stays the same, you're shooting your deer right here when it bottoms out, not 2 days later when the pressure's higher, because this change right here keeps deer from feeding. They feed 5 times in a 24-hour period. If they don't feed, if they miss feedings, and all of a sudden when the weather breaks, they're hungry. So you can take middle of October, middle of December, let alone pouring gasoline on the annual whitetail rut. And when you see these conditions taking place, the cool thing about this is people say, well, we don't know the weatherman's always wrong. No, not any of these big cold front changes. Maybe it's a drop of 10 degrees instead of 17. Maybe it's a drop of 25 instead of 17. But the bottom line is you can see these big weather changes about 7 to 10 days out. Keep watching them because they might vary by a day. But the point is you can see it's coming. You know it's coming. You can plan for it. You can hunt on that backside. Maybe you hunt in a morning instead of an afternoon. This is what I used to do all the time in Wisconsin when we lived 7 hours away. I would rather hunt a cold front that came through on Tuesday, hunt Wednesday morning, Wednesday night, and go home than a 3-day weekend, because that is a special time, not when it warms up later in that week. Shot a really nice buck. I'm going to try to remember this, Dylan, in Ohio. It was maybe 2015, or you were around, so it was 2017 maybe?
16, 17, yeah.
Yeah, right in there. And we had a major cold front go through in Wisconsin, and that was right before Thanksgiving. It was that weekend. In fact, it was the opener of Wisconsin gun season. That day we had 50-mile-an-hour winds on the Friday before the opener. Saturday it was terribly windy. Sunday, Dante shot a buck in the morning. I was sitting right with him. That was that cold calm. It's still a little windy. And then I drove 11 hours down to Ohio to hunt some public land bucks with my bow. I was only going to hunt Monday, Tuesday. My hunt lasted about 3 hours on Monday morning. I literally slept 45 minutes in the truck. Got out, shot my bow under the headlights, and just to make sure my bow was on. And I followed that cold front, went right to the stand, and it was on that windy backside. The temperature dropped 40 degrees, incredible wind difference, and shot that buck that we were after on public land. It's something that works, and it's something I've really gone out of the way to hunt just a day or two to make sure I don't miss this temperature formula. Now, I know that you can't always plan when you hunt. We're very fortunate because we can hunt any day we want. We can't hunt every day. I hope that makes sense. We have a lot of other things to fit in our schedule, in our hunting schedule, what we're doing for partners, sponsors, what we have to do on a daily basis with putting videos out 4 days a week, shooting videos every week, and just doing what we do. We can hunt any day we want. We can't hunt every day. So when I choose to hunt, when in the balance of everything else, family, kids, friends, and burning out stands, land, then when I choose to hunt, I want to hunt on these temp formula days. And what I do, I find success. And it hasn't just been for a few years. It's literally been for decades, 90% of my hunts. And I challenge you to look back on your best hunts, see what you find, tell your friends about it. This is a fun way to hunt. I get excited about it because it's made my career in hunting, and it's something I look forward to every year, and I try not to miss a cold front drop all season long. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. You're our best followers. You followed all the way to the end of the video. Really invite you to check out our website. We have our Earthway spreaders for sale, great Christmas presents. We're booking clients right now, all 5 of us. So by the end of December, it seems early, but by the end of December, our schedule will be booked for 2025. It's hard to believe. I'm already booked for December and most of January, February. We have our web classes, the Rut web class, how to design your whitetail property, and really important, hunting hills and thermals, understanding the wind. Those are great products on our site, all the books. Thank you so much for watching all the videos, buying the seed that you did this year. Really appreciate you.